Ladies and gentlemen, our next lined up program is a knowledge sharing session. Please enjoy.
Hello everyone, good morning. Welcome to the COVID-19 International Innovation Awards exhibition and also our knowledge sharing session. Today we are very happy to have Stem Cell Foundation. They are going to have a special demonstration and also a roundtable discussion on Ignite STEM interest to combat COVID-19 AI game addiction. So the tagline is Ada, Asa, Sudah. Ada, which is actually AI drug addiction. Asa, which is actually AI STEM addiction. We are happy to have Mr. Miro, Mr. Peng Chu from the Stem Cell Foundation Incorporated in Australia. We have Mr. Sange, we have Encik Nur Suhailey, we have Mr. Adil Akbar, we have Miss Srijana, we have Mr. Gabriella, and we have Miss Pavana Sutta. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I would like to hand over the floor to Mr. Miro and Mr. Peng. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Puan Noran, for this kind introduction. And Salam alaikum, and good day to all our friends from so many countries. Name a few here who is going to share their experiences are from India, Dr. Winston Jacob, member of the British Empire, based in Bangalore. Then we have from Bhutan, where we did a lot of work there since 2018. Head of Department Sange Chedok and Srijana. Oh, welcome and thank you so much for joining us. And then from Thailand, we have Dr. Jerry Lat and Dr. Sompon, and I'm sure I'll see a few more names there, Nina and Hamida, all from Prince of Songkla University, very near to Malaysia, in the south of Thailand. And they are highly networked university with within Thailand as well as Europe, which I understand has about 19 universities networked to research on STEM education. So, and then obviously we have from Cameroon, who Gabriel, who's studying in Turkey in TED University. He will be sharing his experience too. And of course, our own South Australian government representative, Adil Akbar, who is with the High Commission of Australia in Kuala Lumpur. And so, again, welcome from so many places. And thank you for joining us to share this stage to go on to sharing our experiences on how to ignite STEM interest in order to solve this problem of many dimensions caused by COVID-19. And one of the area of interest is obviously in artificial intelligence games, which is causing a lot of problem, I suppose, in most families that we have experienced during this lockdown. And a lot of time was spent on these very addictive games, as Puan Noran introduced. We call it ADA, AI drug addiction. And then how do we counter that, combat that? We hope that we can ignite interest in STEM to the point where we can have all these network of experts, professors, and specialized in STEM to come up with solutions that could be more addictive than AI games addiction. So we call that ASA. So AI STEM addiction, which Miro will demonstrate. I'm sure even adults will be very interested in seeing how they can control drones from different countries to the drone in Australia. So the other thing that I want to maybe touch on is close to our hearts is how this COVID-19 has also created even bigger problem for these people in need of help who have $2 in the pocket. So one story that appeared on television at the height of the pandemic last year is a story of villagers who went to big cities like Jaipur, Mumbai, Delhi to work and lost their jobs. They have to walk 200 kilometers back to their village. And one story has it that thanks to this reporter, Emma Alberati from Australia, together with Bakar Dutt, I think she is a very famous reporter from India. They were following these villagers back to their village, walking 200 kilometers and having to sell their mobile phone to buy food along the way. And unfortunately, the father committed suicide when they arrived at the village. And so how do we help these people in poverty? We're using STEM as a solution. So the idea that we came about is maybe to make a STEM QR code to help these poor people to stick it onto the rich man's breakfast, their bread, their coffee, their Milo, and help them to win competition. So the point here is, can the poor people using STEM technology to help the rich to become richer? So that QR code, when the rich man, when I say rich man, is just the average middle class people compared to those people who have only $1 in the pocket. So can these rich men then get richer by, for instance, through the QR code, their children winning STEM competitions using this technology that is invented in Australia that can reduce programming time from months to hours, and winning scholarships, and then hopefully get jobs 12 months before they graduate, which we all have case studies like that already. So why not help these poor people to make the rich richer? Is the other challenge that is caused by this COVID-19, as we have witnessed globally today. So I think I'm very heartened by the fact that these 4 words only that we need in order to connect people together is hours instead of months to make STEM projects, which include Internet of Things and artificial intelligence. So that would be very much of interest to reduce the time to market to students, teachers, engineers alike. And so I believe through this network, these case studies could be presented globally through many teachers association, like the one headed by Cikgu Suhailey in Malaysia. He is the chairman of PGSM, or in English we call it MASTA, Malaysia Association of STEM Teachers. And so even through organization like ATO, the Asia Regional Training Development Organization, which has presence in about 40 plus countries, just open up an office or liaison office in Washington, DC. And so we've been invited to head the technology committee of this Asia Regional Training Development Organization. So in a nutshell, I think our interest is to try to get a federation of STEM association going in ASEAN. So call it ASEAN STEM Federation, just a name that we can also apply to the South Asia countries, like the 8 countries, South Asia Association of Regional Cooperation, the SAC countries. So forming, again, STEM Federation that will connect all these teacher groups, regional training organizations together. So I think with this technology, the aim of this ADA, ASA Suda, is just one aspect that we want to discuss today, which I think to prove the 4 words, hours instead of months, in order to make this fun and exciting and engaging STEM projects, to make it even more addictive with Internet of Things and artificial intelligence. And so I hope that through the Q&A, you all have questions for us to try to hopefully share even more ideas. And finally, I want to share also the idea of, as we see what Miro is going to demonstrate, I would like everybody to think about the creativity part of this whole process. Because we believe that we could have the best technologies of making STEM excited and ignite STEM interest in students to replace their addictive games. I think creativity plays a huge part in this whole process. And so measure the creativity as we speak, as we demonstrate, and see whether we can combine this creativity with what we are trying to resolve here. So I'll hand over now to Miro to do the demonstration. And then after that, we'll invite a number of speakers to share their experiences also. Thank you.
Thank you, Peng. Thank you very much. So I'm going to just run through quickly on a few slides about the technology as well. Okay, so Peng actually mentioned this replacing the AI game addiction, which is the ADA, with AI STEM addiction. So ADA, ASA, SUDA. So what we want to do then is in the home, we want to create a smart home. So we're talking about Internet of Things. Internet of Things means that we have home automation. We can turn things on and off from the internet. Everything is connected to the internet. And also it then can connect into artificial intelligence, the AI part of it as well. So this is actually very important. This is what we're talking about today. So we're using this to engage students for STEM. So we're using a new technology, which is Runlinc Technology, which I will show you. So what is Runlinc? Well, Runlinc actually is able to do, in 6 lines of code, you can create an intruder alarm. So with 1 line of code, that intruder alarm can have vision, and then with 2 more lines of code, the intruder alarm can have 2 buttons to turn on and off the alarm. And then with 3 more lines of code, you can add text-to-voice AI synthesis. So this means just with 6 lines of code, you can create this artificial intelligence IoT, which I will demonstrate. Okay, so I will show the demonstration by actually showing you with my mobile phone camera what is being controlled over here in Australia. And I have Hanley over there in Malaysia, who will be opening the web page. But I will show you where that web page is coming from. So I am just changing over to my phone camera now. Good. Okay, that's good. So I have here on my table in Australia, I have a controller, and Hanley is opening a web page which is inside this Wi-Fi chip. So this Wi-Fi chip on the top of the controller is a little computer on the internet. All the computers share the web pages. So it is shared everywhere. And this little microchip is sharing a special web page to be able to develop IoT and AI for STEM very quickly and easily. It can connect, for example, to inputs and outputs. An output is on the blue wire, and that is to be able to switch this box, which can magnetically switch then a lamp, for example. So this is a signal on C4. So Hanley, if you can open that page, and we can see then your screen. Okay, very good. So Hanley, if you go then to C4, maybe if you can expand the screen a little bit bigger, we can see it. C4, if you make that a digital out on C4, so select C4 digital out. Okay, good. And then we have a button, and that button means that there is a signal here, but the signal is off. So Hanley, can you press the button just to check if there is a connection here to the wire? And then immediately everyone can see that the lamp actually turns on because there is a connection. Because remember, the web page Hanley has open in Malaysia is actually based on this chip. So there's a connection, very good. Okay, so Hanley, type in the word lamp, but of course we could also, this could be a fan, it could be a pump for water, could be many things to turn on and off. Okay, very good. I also have input. Input sensors are important for data. So we can measure data, we can log the data. This is a light sensor, which goes to C7. Hanley, can you please activate C7 analog in on the web page? So analog in, and immediately you see that there is a number which is actually streaming onto the web page, 240 at the moment because the lamp has light on the light sensor. So Hanley, if you turned off the lamp, then that number will go down. So click the lamp off. Okay, the lamp has been turned off. The number has gone down. Okay, good. And then if I cover my hand with the sensor, then the number will go down even further. So you see the number has gone down even all the way to 40. And if I uncover my hand, then the sensor number goes up again. This is a light sensor, but it could be a temperature sensor, it could be a moisture sensor, many other inputs for data. So Hanley, on C7, please put the word sensor. Okay, very good. And now, because we have the sensor and a lamp, then in JavaScript loop, we can very quickly then make also this automated. So Runlinc is a development page where we can develop IoT AI projects. Please type in the word if, which means we will make a decision, lowercase if, and it will then measure, we will then compare the sensor. So if and then the round brackets. Okay, good. And then you don't need to. Okay, thank you. You can also use the macros to do that as well. Okay, the analog in actually needs to have an uppercase I as well to make sure it's correct. Otherwise, with the macros, then that's done automatically. So uppercase I. Okay, very good. And then on the next line, we're going to then turn on. So you can select the macro, show how the macro works. There's a macro button there. So select that one and press turn on and select the lamp. Okay, and we haven't logged. Turn on lamp, makes it easier for inputs, outputs. The next line would be else. We will be checking if also it is greater than 120, and then we will turn off the lamp. So select turn off, and then we can place the lamp. Thank you. So only 4 lines of code. And now, Henley, if you go up to next to the stop code, press the run code button, then immediately it will go green. And then when I put my hand on the light sensor, when it goes below 120, less than 120, okay, then the lamp actually turns on. So you can see the lamp is on. When I release my hand, it turns off. And on the web page, you can see the numbers and the buttons turn on and off. Now in the HTML, we will create a simple web page quickly. So in there, we'll put the triangle brackets and then put in H1. So lowercase h1 means that this will be a heading, and then finish the bracket the other way. Okay, that's good. And then type in MTE alarm control web page. Okay, a special alarm control web page which we are making very quickly. Okay, for MTE. Okay, alarm control web page. So this is the text on the top, and then we put in the triangle brackets, the /H1, and then press the stop code. And if we press run code again, press stop code and run code, then you see the lower part of the page already has MTE alarm control web page. Very fast for students to get started. They can see what is happening immediately. One line of code, and they can check the line of code. Very important, because otherwise too many lines of code are very hard to check the code. Okay, go to the next line in the HTML, and we will create 2 buttons in this code. So in the triangle bracket, we'll put the word lowercase button, the word button, and this is a normal HTML button, and on click equals, and then put in the quotation mark, turn on buzzer. Okay, turn on with an uppercase O to make sure that it is actually the function of turning it on, and then end the quotation mark, then finish the triangle bracket, end of bracket, and then on the top we'll put alarm on. Okay, very good. And then at the end we need to put the / button. Very good. So if we go up and press the stop code and then press run code again, then under our heading we see a button which says alarm on. Okay, now the button will not work because we haven't defined this. So it's trying to connect to this. How do we connect on Runlinc? Go up to C5, Henley, C5. Very, very easy, very quick. Go to C5, select digital out, and then type in the same word buzzer that we have in the code. Okay, needs to be lowercase also, like the code. Okay, and when it's the same, then we can simply press stop code, run code, and then it is connected. So Runlinc will connect. It will connect the inputs and outputs to the web page. Now, Henley, if you press that button, then it will be connected to the buzzer. So if you go down, we can hear the buzzer very loud here in Australia. So loud it goes from Australia to Malaysia, very loud. Better turn it off, Henley. C5, click on that one. Okay, we better make an off button. So go up and then copy the line, and we can quickly make an off button as well. So if you copy the on button in the HTML, make an off button. Very good. So it now says turn off and alarm off at the top. So press the stop code and the run code again. And then we have 2 buttons. Do the 2 buttons work on our web page? alarm on and alarm off. Okay, very good. So then just with 2 lines of code, we can create 2 buttons on a web page to turn anything on and off from anywhere, even from Malaysia to Australia or from anywhere in the world. It actually takes many lines of code, over 100 lines of code to do this on compatible technologies such as Arduino. Was 20 pages of instructions how to make a web page with 2 buttons. So now we will show you how the Runlinc can connect to many other things. Also voice, like in JavaScript, we can have 3 lines of code for voice, 1 line of code for video into like a CCT camera on our web page. But we can also connect into this device here because it is Wi-Fi. So the Runlinc can connect to Wi-Fi devices. This is a drone here in Australia. We will connect, and if you press the stop code, and then press the get button, okay, then we see that there is code inside the chip because you can put the code inside the chip to run the page. And you see in the HTML, we also have buttons. These buttons also have some CSS, which is graphics to make them larger, but otherwise they're the same buttons. So on click equals drone up, etc. And also in the JavaScript loop, we see that it still has the sensor, and this code in the JavaScript loop, the last box, the loop box actually says less than 80, and it says turn on lamp, but it also has speech synthesis, which says that alert, there's an intruder coming. So when the intruder comes, then when the intruder comes to this sensor, then it will actually say the voice, and then it will activate the drone. So it says drone takeoff, drone up 50, drone counterclockwise. So the next thing we're going to connect also is this Wi-Fi drone, and this Wi-Fi drone is also connected to the network now. So the Runlinc can connect to it and can control it with that web page. So I'll put this drone here on the floor. Okay, good. So now open your web page by pressing the run code. So if you press the run code and then scroll down, then you see the page, everything clearly, the camera view, we have height data. So press the start commands.
Drone command.
Okay, and then the drone actually now is ready to take commands and also to get data. So click on the temp degrees C.
Drone get temp.
And we see that it's 67 degrees on the chip, and the battery level. So click on battery. We can get data from the battery.
Drone get battery.
Okay, 94%, very good. So now let's see if we can take off the drone and we can see the height data. So press take off.
Drone take off.
Okay, so the drone now has taken off. You can press up and it can go higher as well.
Drone up 20.
Okay, and a little bit higher, and we can see that on the graph as well when we check the graph. Okay. All right, very good. So we can turn the drone, try turning it then clockwise, turn clockwise.
Drone CW90.
Okay, so the drone now is turning, and you can see that also reflected on the camera. You turn once more.
Drone CW90.
Okay, very good. And also let's now do a flip. So you can press the left flip, press the left flip.
Drone flip L.
Okay, so got the command, and did you see that? Wow, okay, excellent. Flip, let's flip it to the right as well. Flip it to the right.
Drone flip R.
Okay, so remember this is actually across the internet. We can do a local connection and it'll be very fast. Okay, I think it's very good. So maybe you'll land the drone now. It's actually flipped close to me. So let's land the drone.
Drone land.
Press the land button. Okay, and so it will actually then go down. Okay, just here. All right, very good. I'll put it over here now. And remember that we also have the sensor. So this is automatic. So we've set it so that if an intruder actually comes and goes and gets sensed, then the drone should automatically look for the intruder. That's what we've programmed. So let's now activate the sensor. The intruder is coming. The intruder has then blocked.
Alert intruder detected, sending security drone. Drone takeoff.
Okay.
Drone up 50.
So now it's actually asking for the drone to go up.
Drone
so
CCW 360.
It's actually gone up, and it's asked for it to go through a certain sequence as well. Okay. So you can see on the camera that it's actually looking around. Okay, it can see me. I'm an intruder. That's not very good. Okay, so it's found, I think it's found me, found the intruder. Okay, I think I better go away. So I'm going to uncover the sensor now, and I'm going to leave
has gone
and see whether the
All
drone
safe.
actually will then
Drone land.
go down. Okay, so you see, tell the drone to actually go back down. Okay, I'm gone now. Drone, okay, I'm no longer on your sensor. So let's see if the drone will actually land as well. All right, very good. Okay, I think it still knows I'm here. All right. Oh, good. Okay. Yeah, it took notice of the sensor. Very good. Okay, thank you very much. You can see all that on the height graph as well, and all the data. Okay, very good. So that's my demonstration of the drone. Thank you. Okay, so if I can please invite Adil Akbar, who's working for the South Australian government in Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia, to actually say a few words. Thank you.
Thanks for the introduction, and it's a delight to be here. Quite an act to follow you, Miro, after your live drone STEM demonstration. However, let me start by particularly thank Peng Chu and yourself, Miro, from Stem Cell Foundation for inviting me to give a short address at this virtual session in Malaysia's Technology Expo 2021 for COVID-19 International Innovation Awards. I also would like to thank the other distinguished speakers at this session who comes from around the world. And I'm sure what they will be sharing with you today will be insightful and meaningful. I believe the organization behind this technology, which is Stem Cell Foundation Australia, from South Australia, requires no further introduction. As we saw in the previous demonstration, Runlinc platform developed by Stem Cell Foundation is a disruptive Australian technology using Wi-Fi to revolutionize programming using a web browser. This technology reduces programming time from months to merely just hours using a web browser. For example, it merely takes 6 lines of code to create an intruder alarm, 2 lines to make a web page, and 3 lines to produce an artificial intelligence voice. And this can be easily programmed by a student as young as standard 4 or 10 years old. This platform allows young students to be quickly introduced and construct artificial intelligence projects such as in Internet of Things, drones, and also other DIY smart home kits as shown in the demonstration before this. It is also the perfect platform to help transform students from game addiction into an AI STEM addiction, also known as ASA. It is our hope to ignite STEM interest in the young minds to explore and create innovations in response to COVID-19. As we are all aware, the impact of digital disruption is being felt across the world, but the challenge can be met head-on if our education system, from the earliest years through to further education, embraces an innovation mindset. Innovation is the best way to keep pace with change. In today's digital age, children must not only be able to access new technologies, but take full advantage of the vast array of information and opportunities that new technologies make available. It is the only way to create the next generation of researchers, innovators, and digitally literate citizens prepared for the jobs of the future. As a representative of South Australian state to Malaysia, I'm pleased to share that our state world-leading capabilities in artificial intelligence is helping us to build global collaborations with major tech firms. Our global reputation has attracted the world's biggest technology companies focused on creating future technologies. Just recently, Amazon Web Services moved into our state, closely followed by Google Cloud. They are seeking to collaborate with the internationally recognized homegrown expertise within our own Australian Institute for Machine Learning from the University of Adelaide, the MIT Big Data Living Lab, the Australian Research Centre for Interactive and Virtual Environments, and the Australian Cyber Collaboration Centre. Recently, at the end of last year, Australia and Malaysia has signed a MOU on Technology Exchange Multi-Year Program via MDEC, which is the Malaysian Digital Economic Corporation, and Austrade, which is Australian Trade and Investment Commission. This program is known as the Australian-Malaysia Tech Exchange, or AMTX. South Australia is glad to be partner of this program, and we look forward to collaborate with Malaysia in building our tech ecosystem together. All these developments is part of our state AI strategy to enable partnerships between companies, researchers, and the education sector. And in doing so, has created space for the blue sky thinking that will ultimately change the way we see the world. Our hope is that Runlinc can play a critical role within this space as the first step in the ecosystem by advancing STEM education and build an innovation mindset in our community, not just in Australia, but around the world. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Adil, for explaining that so well. Now we have a lineup of many people around the world who will be just speaking for about 1 minute or 1.5 minutes, just to explain also what they have also seen as well. Okay. So we will ask Dr. Winston to actually just to say a few words next. Thank you, Dr. Winston.
Thank you, Miro. Assalamualaikum. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Adley, for those interesting comments that you have made. And I'd like to say that this is a wonderful project by Dr. Peng and Maro. They have to be congratulated in this great innovative thing they have discovered. And I can see that this is going to really change the world, especially the Gen Zs who are just the future of this world. I'm thinking of looking at this for the youth, especially the largest youth organization known as the World Scout Bureau. We've got 10 million Girl Guides and 31 million Scouts around the globe in 145 countries. And I can see that this is going to really be beneficial. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Winston, and we look forward to working looking at using this STEM as well. Okay, I invite Dr. Suhailey to then just to speak as well. Dr.
Hello, everyone. A very good morning to Mr. Myro, inventor of Runlinc. Okay, I'm Cikgu Suhailey from Persatuan Guru STEM Malaysia. First of all, when we heard about the Runlinc made me feel like teachers in Malaysia have been left behind. And yet I wonder how teachers can explore this technology and teach it to students, because I know the students will learn faster than us. With the ability to create borderless programming without kids and also just using smartphone, it is so miracle. I believe students in our country will love and enjoy it. What we hope now is we need to focus on special training for teachers, especially who have passionate with new technology in IoT. Any kind of teachers can do it. It is so easy and simple to learn. We can shift 1% of our teachers to be expert in Runlinc. We can't wait for years or months, like what Dr. Peng said, hours instead of months. To ignite our young generation, teachers play an important role on this. They need to know and well trained about Runlinc. We strongly believe Runlinc STEM education will ignite STEM interest in students starting from primary school, as been mentioned by Mr. Adil Akbar. We also believe Runlinc will help teachers to save a lot of time to help students make STEM projects that include IoT and artificial intelligence. We are also confident that students will be more addicted to STEM projects rather than online AI games, like my son also, they're addicted to the games of handphone. Again, thank you very much for opportunity given to be creative, break the norm. Okay, thank you to Mr. Myro, the inventors of Runlinc, and also thanks to Dr. Peng, who introduced Runlinc to Malaysia teachers. Thank you very much again. Thanks, Myro.
Thank you very much, Suhailey. The next person we have is David Tan, and he's in Singapore. David, if you could say a few words for a minute, thanks.
Good morning, everybody. I've been asked to say a few words at this meeting. Thank you for inviting me. I look at Runlinc and the stem cell project from the perspective of the younger generation, our future generation of workers in the industry. I also look at this problem from a very strategic viewpoint. It is known around the world, especially amongst the developed countries, that interest in science and interest in technology and engineering is waning amongst the new students. In a university environment, it is getting more and more difficult to find talented, good students into these fields. So I see Runlinc and stem cell and their program and their invention as a way to actually ignite passion and interest from these kids, young kids, from a young age, and attract them into the fields of science, technology, and engineering in order to build our future generation of inventors and innovators. Very often, at a university, you can see for example, I used to teach the electrical engineering in NUS, National University of Singapore, and I keep tabs with our former colleagues. And there was a spell where the interest and the enrollment of these students starts to fall and wane. So the function of Runlinc is in this aspect is to actually ignite the passion for students. We mentioned Meccano. There are many other things like Lego kits, chemistry kits, engineering kits. And I myself, when I was young, bought electrical engineer's kit for Christmas. So it started from there. And right from that time when I was 14, the interest and passion grew until I went to university, and then I graduated and continued along these lines. So my message is for the teachers especially, ignite the interest and the passion amongst the students for science and technology and engineering. Runlinc and STEM is a wonderful way to do it. And I think that this will help improve the future generations to come. Thank you.
Thank you very much, David, for your insights. It certainly is a big problem with the STEM worldwide. At the Royal University of Bhutan, there was actually a study made of Runlinc, and we would like Professor Sangay from that university to please just say a few words on his findings, because he did a comparison of this Runlinc technology. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much. Can you hear me?
Yes, louder.
Yes, we can.
Thank you indeed. Thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity to be talking and interacting with you all. I'm from Bhutan. So just like in our recent study, like we actually realized that to make the STEM education a daily language in our education systems, access to this such like STEM educational tools is very important, vital. So therefore, like as mentioned by earlier speaker, like Runlinc is a perfect platform where students can really learn and see how really things work. So in the meantime, like I would like to take the permission to share a slide. I have just one slide to share with you all so that I can speak a few words.
Sure.
Can you see,
yep.
Can you see my slides? So this is just like this is a recent study that we actually carried out, how we can actually take the STEM education to the schools. And then these are some of the pictures like where we actually went to the schools and then started introducing them to this like Runlinc and stem cell technology, whereby they were really excited and they were really able to see how really like physical things where they were able to control through the internet, and then concept of understanding the IoT, AI, and all those like automations, industrial revolution things were much more easy for them to understand when they actually do hands-on than to actually listening to the theoretical concept that is taught in the classrooms. So through this, like we went to the schools, like 2 schools in particular, and then we actually trained around 10 school teachers, like how they can use the stem cell. And then through a small project, we also distributed around 10 stem cell kits to the schools. And in line with that, like we actually carried out a simple study on just to compare the stem cell along with the other like commonly used educational platforms like Runlinc. And then from this study, we actually clearly understood that Runlinc is much more easy for students to actually understand the things and then easily they can develop the applications. So these actually findings are actually already published in the Springer in this and lecture notes in electrical engineering. And then we also recently carried out a simple study where we can actually, with the intention to actually transform the STEM education in line with the IoT and STEM AI. And so this actually report is actually yet to be submitted, but we have actually found out like students are very interested to learn those STEM education by using such educational platforms. So that's all. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Sanjay, for sharing also your slides. That was it's very interesting. Thank you. Okay, so the next person to speak is Dr. Somporn. Dr. Somporn is actually in Thailand, and he has also been helping to test the technology, and I believe at the moment he even has his own drone, and will be also getting some equipment. So Dr. Somporn, if you could just say a few words for a minute, that would be good. Thanks.
Oh, first of all, thank you very much for inviting me to join this sharing session. And I think it's very nice to join and see all around the world that is to join together with the Runlinc Technology. And I think this is one point that it will be grow. I mean, it will be grow more and more in the futures. I mean, Runlinc is also the online platform that allow us to use and start the network of the STEM experiment. The Runlinc is a web-based that for the student that they can also use it easily. I mean, by reducing the code. Normally behind maybe the long code, but we can reduce it to be like a very simple code for the primary school student or high school student can also grow. I mean, from the short code to be the longer code and longer code in the future that they can also apply not only for the IoT but also embed between the STEM, IoT, AI, image processing, and also other kind of computational science in the future that we can really like to make drone not only for the Wi-Fi, but it can go farther to go to observe the community. For example, we have like the problem of flooding or the kind of natural disaster management. We can also let drone to fly and get information to monitor and trying to show that how can the government can help to that region. For example, this is open the new world for the teacher. Normally we have to set up the room, right? And the people can come, the student can come to the same room and we learn together, trying to do the coding. But now it seems like the coder is far away from the device. For example, I have the drone here also from the demonstration school that I am trying to learn at the moment. I don't know, maybe you cannot see it. And it can also help in order to open the new world, new eye, new perspective of the STEM learning path. And I think the STEM learning path is allow us to join together and we can learn the good practice from the other, from different country. For example, from Bhutan, from Africa, from America, and many applications that it can be used in the future. And I think now it's starting to have the booming network in order to make this high performance again in the future. And I'm very glad to join this community. And thank you, Dr. Peng and Dr. Miro very much to let me. And also I would like to thank to Dr. Jarirat Ruamcharan that allowed me to join the network here. Thank you very much. It would be nice in the future. I believe that it will be very useful, and I will continue this in Thailand also in order to make it grow more and more. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Somporn. Yeah, we appreciate your view there also from Thailand. So we only have a few more speakers, a couple more. So from Bhutan, I actually have a teacher, who has also used this, Srijana. Srijana, can you please just say a few words, particularly about the STEM for girls, because sometimes they get missed out. Thank you.
Respected all, even today in many social constructs and household, girls are the sole, bearers of domestic chores, which allows them very little time for self-grooming, to study, or even learn a new skill. The very reservation of, do I have enough time for this? Do I have enough time to learn this, or will I be able to do this, is removed from learning STEM, AI, and IoT using Runlinc. I believe that gender equality and balance comes from quality education and vice versa, and learning AI, IoT, and STEM with Runlinc is all about achieving quality education in the shortest span of time, irrespective of gender or age. I believe creativity is sovereign, and tools like Runlinc just gives them wings.
Thank you very much, Srijana, for your very concise words. And we have a good example of that as well. There's a student that is actually with us who has certainly grown wings. I've actually seen her grow wings. So Pavana, if you can describe to you about the growth, the beginning and the growth, just for a minute. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Pavana, a 16-year-old student from Convent Butterworth Secondary School in Penang, Malaysia. So last December, I showcased the smartwatch to detect COVID-19 symptoms using Runlinc for an innovation competition. Then my teacher introduced me to Dr. Pang and Mr. Miro. I was also given the responsibility to conduct a 7-week Runlinc workshop in my school to about 25 students to channel my knowledge in Runlinc to my friends and inspire them in the STEM field. Runlinc promotes gender equality through quality education. It introduces science and technology through simple and fast programming. Such simplicity is the key feature that attracted me, and I strongly believe that others, especially female students, would be inspired in a similar manner, hence encouraging their greater participation in the STEM field. Interestingly, my workshop is a proven result of this. The 25 girls enjoyed the workshops and they were able to run simple projects even in the second workshop. They expressed more interest now in STEM and even have plans to pursue related careers in the future. So currently my school has undertaken 2 Runlinc based projects. One deals with using a drone to hinder the presence of crows in the school premises, and the other is a mushroom watering system that self-activates during weekends and also school holidays. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pavana. Excellent. We look forward to seeing more on your projects at the school. This COVID-19 has caused people to have to stay at home, and so people have to use the internet. Internet of Things is a specialty of Runlinc and the AI, and it has also made the countries actually accessible for remote learning. We have someone all the way from Turkey who we actually met in Cameroon in Africa, and I did the demo to him, and he was stunned because he's doing masters in computer science. And Gabriel, can you please tell us why you were stunned?
Hello everyone, good morning. My name is Gabriel Zencha. I'm a student at TED University in Turkey. Like Mr. Miro rightly said, I was stunned by the Runlinc technology because actually I was working on my graduation project and I was trying to build a home automation system using Arduino's microcontrollers and other third-party apps, and it took me quite a lot of time to implement just a simple switch functionality. And once I did the demo about switching on and off light from Cameroon, at that moment I was in Cameroon and Miro was in Australia. So the demo caught me like surprised because I couldn't, I saw what I was doing for months, and actually it took just a few minutes to do it. And so I saw that I could actually transform my senior project to using just Runlinc and using the right technologies to save time. So I'm actually working with my professor on writing a research paper about comparing the development time with IoT projects with Runlinc and also using Arduino. And hopefully we are going to submit this paper to the International Conference of Computer Engineers in Turkey on the 25th of June. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Gabriel, and thank you very much for all of the speakers that we have here. And for those others that have come here, I would like also just to invite if anybody just has any closing questions or any comments at this time. And if not, then maybe I can return back to Peng just for some closing comments would be good. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, speakers. It is such a joy to share experiences with so many ideas, experts from so many countries, which I never imagined possible. So one of the good things came about of this COVID-19 pandemic, I suppose, is a COVID-19 secondary pandemic, which we have identified as AI game addiction, which is tremendously harmful. And so, like Dr. Winston from Bangalore rightly say, there's so many of these stakeholders, including scouts in so many countries, 100 over countries, numbering must be over 50 million scouts and Boy Scouts and Girl Guides. And that could be part of this program and be able to share their experiences with big techs like Microsoft, like Intel, like Google, and why not also the big four, like PricewaterhouseCoopers, that has released STEM economy research, which says if you shift 1% of Australia's workforce to STEM jobs, our GDP, our gross domestic product would increase by 57 billion Australian dollars. So I'll leave you with this thought of applying the same in your own countries, of shifting 1% of, let's say, Thailand's workforce to STEM jobs, and ask the primary school students, guided by teachers as well as by professors, and why not PricewaterhouseCoopers itself that write the report, and see how many billions of Thai bahts that the Thai economy will increase. And we then use this money to help all those impoverished people that have to walk 200 kilometers during this pandemic to go home, and so desperate that they don't even have a home to go to. So I believe what I said earlier can be done. Let's take up the challenge of helping the poor people to help the rich to become richer, and leave it to humanity to take its own course and see whether this technology, STEM technology, can reduce poverty to get United Nations Sustainable Development Goals implemented from primary school upwards. So thank you again to Pro-Tem for such a wonderful opportunity, which it didn't take a long time to pull together. I think Cikgu Suhailey was shocked when his WhatsApp was filled up within 24 hours. And he's been saying that ever since. He had never seen so much interest in teachers wanting to see what Miro has invented in flying drones from Malaysia with the drone in Australia. So I hope that this will become a series of webinars through this period, and with the aim maybe to form, as I say, the Federation of STEM in ASEAN countries, as well as in South Asia. So thank you again for all your contribution, and let's keep moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Malaysia Technology Expo COVID-19 International Innovation Awards Part 2, we would like to congratulate everyone on this achievement and testimony. And then we would like to thank everyone for their time participating in this knowledge sharing session. Further ado, I would like to end this. And again, a special thanks to everyone. Let's connect again and let's ignite STEM interest to combat COVID-19 AI game addiction. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very